Are we on?
Sir, we are streaming live.
Very good.
She's on, but she says she can't hear anything. Oh, now she can. Oh,
All right.
I need to tell her to unmute. She's on. She's not muted and she's not video.
She's on video. I can see her.
Oh, okay.
She's frozen. Judge, it's just a picture.
Oh. Well. I think we got her now, but she's muted. You're muted, Miss.
Okay.
Hernandez. There you go. Good morning, Ms. Hernandez. The court will come to order. We call case number 625433. State of Texas versus Kayla Samantha Hernandez. Do you pronounce it Kayla or Keela? I didn't hear you. Well, it says you're not muted, but I don't hear you. Is anybody hearing her?
I'm not hearing her.
Can you adjust your volume? It might be that it's at the minimum. Try it again. No, we're not hearing you. What is it I always say? To err is human, forgive divine, but to screw up really good, you need a computer.
Judge, she might need to log out and come back in.
You want to try that, Ms. Hernandez? Go ahead and log out and then try to get back in.
Where can I hear?
Good morning, Mr. Edelman.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing today?
Well, managed to cheat death for another day.
That's a morbid approach for a Monday morning.
I don't think it's morbid at all, sir. I think it's very optimistic. So far, I've managed to cheat death every single day of my life.
Yes,
I have a
you-
perfect track record.
So far, thank goodness. May you have many, many, many days where you do that.
Yes, I hope to continue cheating death indefinitely into the future, sir.
There you go.
How is everyone else?
I'm okay.
Good.
Hopefully nobody's experiencing any terrible sorrow.
I don't know. I can't hear anything.
You see, Joe,
can hear
there's an obit on A.L. Herndon's daughter. She was a lawyer.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She worked for the DA's office. I remember seeing her.
Yeah, me too. I remember her dad. He was.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
All right. We have you on board, Ms. Hernandez. So I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Excuse me. Again, this is case number 625433. I am informed that you're going to enter a plea today. I want you to raise your hand, please. Right hand. You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, any responses and information you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right. Ms. Hernandez, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. First, I'm going to inform you of your rights and stuff, the constitutional rights and protections, and then in the process, this will be oral on the record, and subsequently you'll see that there'll be a repetition in writing on several different documents. First right that I need to remind you that you have is the right to remain silent. That means you do not have to make any kind of statement. You don't have to sign any kind of papers. You don't have to admit or say anything or answer questions during this proceeding. Do you understand that you have that right? And you are in proceeding with this plea, you are giving up that right. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And are you giving it up freely and voluntarily? I didn't hear you.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you have other rights that are very important, constitutional rights. One of them is the right to a jury trial. In this plea, you're giving up that right. Do you understand that? Again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're giving up the right to confront or cross-examine any witnesses who would testify. But because you're entering a plea, you don't have a trial, there'll be no witnesses, but you need to realize that you're giving up the right to confront or cross-examine witnesses. Do you understand that? You also have a right to appeal this proceeding. That right is exercised by either you and or your attorney, demanding that a higher court review this proceeding and the evidence in this matter. That right you're giving up too. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, there's also a simple right that you could demand that this proceeding be held in public at the courthouse. But because of the pandemic, we're not doing hearings at the courthouse. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Also, the state has that same right, the right to require this hearing to be in public at the courthouse. There is an alternate method that is being exercised, and that is by placing this proceeding on YouTube. The world can see you and us, the participants, and they can hear us. They can also see the documents. This first document says that the state is consenting to carry out this proceeding, this hearing and plea by video conference. And you'll notice at the top of that document, where are we, Patty?
Sorry, Judge, it's, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Patty.
I'm sorry, it's, I don't know what happened. Hang on, please.
All right. In all the documents we're going to show you, with one exception, at the beginning of the document, at the very top, you'll notice it says cause number 625-433. The state of Texas versus Kayla Samantha Hernandez in County Court at Law number 5, Bexar County, Texas. That'll be on all of the documents with one exception. I'll point that out. Then this particular document, the title of it is State's Consent to Video. Now, this document, because the state has.
Judge, you froze for a minute and you cut out.
Okay, I'm still here though.
The last thing I heard you say is state's consent to video conference.
Okay, this document says that the state agrees, because they have the right to demand a public proceeding. They agree to conduct this hearing, this plea by video conference. It is signed by Mr. Randall Jeffries on behalf of the District Attorney's Office. Do you see and understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. The next document is called Discovery Acknowledgement. You'll notice at the top, it's got the same, it repeats the information. So this document is reference to you. This discovery acknowledgement is pursuant or is part of Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure here in Texas. This law requires that the state makes available to you and provides to you and discloses receipts of documents, items, and information that is provided to you so that you and your attorney can review the evidence and make an informed decision. This is signed by the prosecutor, Mr. Jeffries. I'm sure that the original, this is a copy, I think, is signed by your attorney. Is that correct, Mr. Pina?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. The document being shown right now is, this is your document where you agree to have this proceeding by video conference. Did you review this with your attorney and sign it?
Yes, sir.
You did?
Yes, sir.
And you signed it, Mr. Pina?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, the document being shown to you now, again with the introductory information at the top. This one is titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. It starts off with three declarations, three sentences at the top. This matter, the three sentences talk about the fact that you know what you're charged with. You're waiving the right to have me read the document, what's called a complaint or information, and read it to you word for word. You acknowledge here that you're charged with DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. That's commonly called extreme intoxication. Then you declare, it says, in this cause, I hereby enter a plea of nolo contendere to the allegation of driving while intoxicated. That means that the enhancement of 0.15 or higher apparently is being dropped. So, State, are you making a motion to proceed on the DWI misdemeanor B?
Yes, the state moves to waive the extreme intoxication enhancement and proceed with DWI first.
Very good. That's beneficial to you, Ms. Hernandez. You're aware that that's going on?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any objection, defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, then the motion is granted, and you're now proceeding. We are all proceeding with a DWI misdemeanor B. Now, the rest of this document is divided into 15 sections or divisions, and each one is numbered. The very first one you see right there, it talks about the range of punishment. The misdemeanor B can be punished by a fine of $0 to $2,000 and jail 72 hours to 180 days in jail. There's a stack of boxes, little boxes that are stacked vertically. The only one that is checked is the one DWI first, which I'm referring to as misdemeanor B, and that's the range of punishment. Did you see and understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, you reviewed this document completely with your attorney?
I did.
Do you see that number 2 talks about the right to a jury trial, right to cross-examine witnesses, and the right to remain silent, that you're freely and voluntarily giving that up? Did you see and understand that?
Yes, sir.
Number 3 talks about mental health. Have you ever had any mental health issues? Ms. Hernandez,
Oh, yes, sir. Yes.
have you ever had any mental health problems?
Yes, sir, I have.
And what is that more or less?
Just PTSD and depression, anxiety.
Do you take medication for that?
Not at the moment, but I actually looking into starting on medication again for that.
So right now you're not under medication,
Sir, I'm not.
ma'am?
No, sir, I'm not.
All right.
I'm just seeking counseling. That's what I'm doing at the moment.
Your Honor, Mr. Hernandez, if you don't mind. Mr. Hernandez was a sexual assault victim several years back, and it has required therapy, and she was undergoing therapy, Your Honor, and seeking therapy. Of course, with the pandemic, it's made it more difficult. However, all of the occasions that I've had in meeting with Ms. Hernandez prior to the pandemic and since the pandemic, in my discussions with her, she's always appeared to be competent and understands what the circumstances before her, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. I'm sorry you suffered that. I hope that you continue to improve your health, mental and physical. Now, number 4 talks about your plea of nolo contendere. A nolo contendere is taken by this court as a guilty plea. Was that explained to you? Ms. Hernandez?
Yes, sir.
Was that explained to you?
Yes, sir.
And are you telling me that you're entering a plea of nolo contendere after having reviewed the information and evidence and talked to your attorney and decided that that is in your best interest to enter a plea of nolo contendere? Did you understand my question?
Yes. I'm accepting that. That's the plea that I took.
We've got a bad connection with you. It's you sound fuzzy.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been involved in or participated in the sex offender registration program?
No, sir.
Okay. Number 6 talks about the fact that you have made an agreement with the state, and I inform you that I have the authority and responsibility to decide if we accept that or not. I don't expect to reject it. In fact, I intend to accept it, but just for the record, do you understand that I don't have to accept your agreement? Not only that, if I chose to, you saw the range of punishment that we talked about momentarily. I can give you any punishment in that range of punishment, even if it's heavier than what you agreed to. However, if I reject your deal, or if I give you a punishment greater than what you agreed to, then the law would allow you to withdraw your plea. And no statement or document that you may have signed regarding this case up till now would be used against you. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 7 talks about the right to appeal. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Where were you born, Ms. Hernandez? Again?
Mexico City.
Mexico City?
Okay.
Are you right now a Mexican citizen or a citizen of the United States?
I am a Mexican citizen.
All right. Mr. Pina, have you assured us, or can you assure us that Ms. Hernandez has in fact been carefully counseled and we are in compliance with Padilla versus Kentucky?
Yes, sir, that's correct. And also, Your Honor, for the record, she also has an immigration attorney who's assisting her in her acquisition of U.S. citizenship, and was fully aware through his consultation and mine of the consequences of this particular case.
Who is the immigration attorney?
His name is Guillermo Hernandez.
Any relation, Ms. Hernandez?
Sorry?
Is Guillermo Hernandez related to you?
He's not, but when I was first sexually assaulted, we did end up in a women's shelter with my mom. And so he was the attorney holding our case back then. So I hired him about 7 months ago, and he's now working on that with me from back then because he knows my case from when it first happened back in 2015.
Okay, Ms. Hernandez, I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm going to ask you to close and reopen again because your sound is very fuzzy, very hard to clearly understand. I'm going to give you a moment. Give it another try, okay? It improved from the before, but right now we need to get that cleared up.
Okay, yes. Okay,
Try it again.
can you hear me better?
Yeah, but keep trying to speak loudly because for some reason your machine is still not 100%, but at least it's not as raspy as it was a moment ago.
Okay, yes, sir. I'll speak more loudly.
All right. Let's see what we can do. Again, continue on case number 625-433, State versus Kayla Samantha Hernandez. We were looking at the document on waiver of constitutional rights and court's admonitions. We're discussing number 8, which had to do with citizenship, and the court finds that you have there's compliance with Padilla versus Kentucky, which is required. Number 9 does not apply to you, nor number 10. Is this possibly going to be deferred or straight up?
I believe it's deferred, sir.
All right. Number 11, did you review that regarding deferred adjudication?
Yes, sir, we did.
All right. So you reviewed all of these. Number 15 specifically says that you're entitled to a risk and needs assessment to be performed. If you wish to have that done, you can demand it now. And we'd have to stop the proceedings and get this done and continue. It is obviously my expectation that you're going to waive that right. Is that correct?
It is. That's correct.
And you did that after discussing this with your attorney. Is that right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right. You signed the original document. Mr. Jeffrey signed it on behalf of the prosecution. and I will be signing it today sometime. This next document, again with the introductory information at the top, this one's called Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. There are, again, a stack of vertical stack of little boxes next to each one. There is a declaration concerning the right of appeal. The fifth one I will check off for you. And it says this is a plea bargain case and the defendant has no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
I do, I understand.
And the original document you have signed
I have, sir.
already, as has your attorney. This document now, excuse me, is again the introductory information. The title is application for, and the document ultimately will say court granted or court order deferred adjudication. Did you review this application with your attorney?
I do, sir.
Did you understand what you're telling me under oath by way of this application?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you reviewed it with your attorney and you have signed it. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
All right. The next document is the application personal data sheet. This is the only one that doesn't have the introductory information at the top, and primarily because it's got all your information in here. Did you fill this out with your attorney?
Yes, sir, I did.
Are you employed? Are you working?
Not at the moment, but I am looking.
Hello, who's talking? Kayleen, were you saying?
Yes, sir. Not at the moment. I'm unemployed, but I am looking.
Okay. How long have you been unemployed?
Less than a week. I just recently had to quit my job.
Okay. Now, what were you earning when you were employed?
Earning $11 an hour as a cashier.
Do you expect to be able to earn that much again?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, did you fill out the references in here, the information about your employer and everything?
Yes, sir.
And will you be working full-time?
Full-time job.
Pardon me?
That's the plan of work. I'm looking for a full-time job.
I did not get that clearly, so we're still having trouble, but that's all right. Do you have children?
No, sir.
No children. All right. Do you have particular dependents yourself?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you ever served in the military?
No, sir.
Pardon me?
No, sir.
Okay. And do you have an automobile? Do you have a car?
No, sir.
What happened to the car you were arrested in?
That was actually my mom's vehicle at the moment.
And where does your mom live?
She lives, do you want her address?
Well, do you live with her?
No, sir.
All right. And Mr. Pena, has she signed an affidavit of non-driving?
Not as yet, Your Honor.
I will require that because apparently we're not going to put an ignition interlock on her.
Yes, sir.
They don't work too good that way.
Correct.
All right. Next document, Patricia. All right. Do we have the plea agreement? All right. This document that you're being shown now at the very top says plea agreement, all caps, bold print. Then it has a little bit of a variation of the information. It just says State of Texas versus Kayla Samantha Hernandez, case number 625433. I will be checking off the the box that says defendant is not a U.S. citizen. I will also be checking off where it says compliance with Padilla versus Kentucky. And there's two boxes. There's two check marks will be placed inside that box. And I will be placing in the name in there by Guillermo Hernandez. Now, the next section says Defendants Acknowledgements. There's 5 matters that you have acknowledged previously, but you acknowledge here again. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Next section, Dwi Specific Allegations. It shows on here the state has made a motion to abandon the extreme intoxication enhancement, which has been granted. There will be check marks there showing no objection by defense.
That's correct, Judge.
And I will be checking off, it says motion granted. Now, for the record, your plea to the charge of DWI is what, ma'am?
No content.
Okay, very good. Then I accept your plea of no contest. I find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not. In fact, I am honoring the agreement that's been made wherein you are granted deferred adjudication for 12 months. There'll be no fine nor court costs. You will complete 48 hours of community service. You will participate in the DWI education program by, in good faith, enrolling and completing that program. You'll complete the DWI Victim Impact Panel, a TAP evaluation, and you'll have ignition interlock for 6 months. But since you don't have a vehicle, and you're telling me under oath right here, right now, that you do not have access to a vehicle, you're not going to be driving. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right. In lieu of the ignition interlock, I'm going to have you do the portable in-house monitor. All right. Now you're receiving counseling service. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right. I'm going to grant you credit toward the community service hours. That's the 48 hours. I'm going to grant you credit for every hour that you participate in the counseling service. I will grant you credit. Just get it documented, okay? The supervisory fee, I will set at $25 a month, which is the minimum.
Yes, sir.
Now, you have 7 days from today to go by the courthouse to the offices of County Court at Law Number 5. There's a hallway behind the courtroom. You need to find County Court 5, the offices, and inform them that you have to put a thumbprint on the documents in this case. They will know what to do. I think they'll get the bailiff to help you with that. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do it within 1 week.
Yes, sir.
All right. Questions, Mr. Pina?
None, Your Honor.
Questions, Mr. Edelman?
Nothing from the state, sir.
All right. Ms. Hernandez, you be careful, take care of yourself, and be careful about drinking. For the next, I think it's 12 months that we've granted you deferred adjudication. For the next 12 months, you're not to drink not 1 drop of alcohol. Is that understood?
Yes, sir, that's understood.
All right. Then take care. Good luck. All of you be blessed, be well, and be safe.
Your Honor, I just need to speak to Ms. Hernandez.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Hernandez. if you'll stick around, I need you. I think Ms. Garcia is going to place you and Maricela Luna, the probation, the CLO, in breakout so she can get information from you and get things rolling. All right?
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Thank you.
Joe, good to
Yes,
see
sir.
you. Stay safe.
Yes, sir. Sure try. Thank you, Mr. Edelman.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay. All right, Judge, you need anything from me, give me a call. You know where to find me.
Absolutely. Take care.